Coach, why don't you get us started with your opening statement?
I thought we played really well first half offensively. Thought we mixed run pass good, put 17 points on the board. Defensively, obviously I was happy with our red zone defense in the first half. They had 4 trips down there. They got 1 touchdown and 4 trips. They had 2 field goals, and we had a stop. And I was happy that we created a turnover, created a short field to give us a 17-10 lead. Other than that, defense, we didn't play very well in the first half. Every drive we gave a big play, and we had a chance for a sack. We whiff on the sack. He scrambles, which is what he does. He's a really talented kid. He can make every dang throw. But we got a chance for a sack. We don't get a sack. The second play of the game, they run inside zone, and we misfit it, and he goes 60-some yards and sets up. I know we got a great stop there, but still, it's self-inflicted wounds. Then they hit us on a couple wheel routes. They hit us on a screen pass that they always run, where they motion the receiver back, and they always run the screen and the tailback away, and a play that we should not give up a play there. So the first half was kind of like one big play and then pretty good defense, and one big play, then pretty good defense. So that was frustrating, I felt, as our offense was playing in the first half. If we could have got some stops and created some field position, we could have had a bigger lead than 17-13. Then first drive, the second half was bad. We miss a tackle on a play. We got them 2nd and 10, and we got a chance to make it 3rd and long. We miss a tackle and give up a first down, and then they hit a slant route that we have 2 guys. Coverage wasn't bad. We were in good shape, and 2 guys whiff on a tackle, and you can't do that, and they get a quick score, which gives them the momentum. It's 20-17, but it's kind of feels like one of those games just going to kind of be back and forth. Both teams are pretty even, and then we have a critical, obviously, turnover, and we turn the ball over our 10-yard line, and that's the big plays on defense and a couple untimely turnovers on offense. Other than that, it's a pretty even football game for 4 quarters. We did a good job on 3rd down. We did a good job against the run after the first 71-yard run. They have 40-some carries for 110 yards. So they're under 3 yards a carry for the rest of the game, but you can't give up the 71-yard run. It creates monster field position and all that. So Roback made his plays. They did a good job, but, I didn't think our pass rush was bad. He didn't hold on the ball very long. He got rid of it very quickly. But we didn't play as good perimeter coverage-wise. We got beat outside. We were outside leverage man, and we got beat outside, which was disappointing on some plays. When you're an outside leverage man, you got to get beat inside. You can't get beat outside. So disappointing. Feel bad for our seniors. Feel bad for everyone, to be honest with you. Disappointing in the outcome tonight. Would have loved to get to 5 and 6 and then have a chance to get in a position, even have a chance to still be co-champs based on what happened last night and get to a bowl game. So disappointing for the seniors, disappointing for everybody involved in Miami football. We've had a lot of games this year that we could have won. We've had other games we should have won and haven't done it. And so, but I liked a lot of the things we did tonight. We played a lot of good football, but we got to figure out how to not turn the ball over and not give up the catastrophic mistake, which we seem to be prone to do.
Questions?
Among them have to be the penalties. I mean, you had such a good game last week, and then tonight, literally from the get-go, you just couldn't seem to get out of that rut.
Yeah, and it was weird because we had offensive penalties, we haven't had many offensive penalties this year, but we had, I don't know how many false starts. We probably had 4 false starts, which was uncharacteristic. We didn't have what I would consider any stupid penalties, all right, which plagued us early in the year. We didn't have we didn't have any personal fouls. We didn't have any roughing the pass. We didn't have any late hits. We didn't have any stupid penalties on ST. But we had unfortunately, we had two holding penalties on the perimeter on good plays, on swing passes that got us in position. So it was a rare day where we have a bunch of offensive penalties, but we did have a bunch of offensive penalties today, which certainly hurt our drives. That was probably the biggest problem in the 3rd quarter was the penalties, not so much that our offense wasn't clicking. We get a first down, then it'd be 2nd and 15, then we get a first down. And so and a couple of them were perimeter blocking, so it was definitely not. And part of it's Eastern Michigan. They're really good on defense, and when you're playing really good defense players, there's probably a bigger sense of that sometimes you're going to get caught in a bad position and you hold a little bit. So some of it you got to give credit to them for sure.
Coach, Eastern ran the ball 43 times. Obviously, they're a spread offense, love to throw the ball around. Were you at all surprised with how dedicated they were to running the ball?
No, they kind of like were us when they got there. They were. He's going to run the football. He believes in run the football, mixing in the pass. That's what they always do. Even when they don't run it well, they stay with it. And really, after the first 71-yard run, they didn't really run it well. Like I said, you take the second play of the game out, and you're 42 carries for 114 yards. So Now, part of it was late. They got a lead and they're trying to milk the clock too. But they do that every week. They're going to run the ball and they're going to stay with the run and they're going to carve out existence in the run and try to set up their pass game, which they do a nice job with.
James Garner didn't have as big of a game as he had in the past. What did they do to
Just
minimize
basically
his
double
effort?
them. They just play cover two to them. That we, part of the reason we ran the ball really well in the first half. We had a lot of stuff trying to get to James, but they're basically playing a corner down low and a safety over the top, and trying on first and even on first and second down. Usually you get that on third down, but they were definitely saying, okay, we're going to try to double team 81 and make it very difficult. If you're going to throw it to him, you're going to throw it to him double coverage. You try to do that, typically bad things happen. So there's other times when we move in the field, we didn't get double coverage. We had them to the field a bunch. Either we didn't protect it good enough, we didn't get the ball thrown good enough. There was other opportunities to try to get, because we started moving around about 4 weeks ago, just because we knew teams were going to start to zero in on where he's at. So we had some post routes that didn't get thrown, whether they should have been thrown or not. I'd have to see the tape. But we had other options. When he was a field, we didn't get cover two to the field. So, but yeah, they were definitely going to take that away. And I wasn't really worried. They were taking away in the first half, and we're moving the ball down the field. So that wasn't, if you're gonna expend your resources and try to double a receiver on first down, there's a lot of other ways we can hurt you, which we were doing very well in the first half.
Coach, I know you had a lot of respect for their D-line coming in, and they got a lot of pressure on Gus tonight. Were they doing anything you didn't anticipate, or was just...
No, just they come. And they got the most pressure when they got the 10-point lead. So we were pretty good managing it when it was a one-score game, or we were down a score or up a score, and then obviously they get a 10-point lead. It's the fourth quarter. They start to tee off a little bit. But they're good, and they're relentless. They've been really good pass rushers all year, and they've been dynamic, and they've been really good on third down. We actually were very good we were 6 for 14, which against them, if you look at their numbers on third down, have been really good. We were 6 of 14 on third down. We scored every time we're in the red zone. Like I said, we did a lot of things. Just we got some balls thrown outside one-on-one. We got to, and I'm not saying they're not going to complete any of them, but they completed about 5 in a row, and if they complete 2 of them, okay, they make a couple plays. They whip the ball. We whip the ball around, And then, like I said, just the turnover, obviously, at 20-17 was critical.
Obviously, you mentioned last week about Roback being a good quarterback. He didn't look at all like the 5 interception quarterback of last week. He was throwing it pretty well today and dropping it into actually some pretty tight coverage.
He's a
especially
phenomenal.
Bailey.
He's a phenomenal thrower. He's had a great career at Eastern Michigan. He's been a big part of how they've, and I know they're disappointed. They're sitting there, same record as we are, and they're disappointed. But they've got a pretty good MAC team. I talked to their coach for the game. He's like, I really feel like we're better than last year, but our record isn't close to as good as last year. And he goes, and I feel like we've played a lot of really good football, but we've made some key mistakes and haven't been able to finish games. And I said, I know. I said, trust me, you're talking to the guy that understands how you feel. He's like, I said, I feel the same way. I feel like I got a really good team, and I feel like we could have won a bunch of games, and we didn't, and we didn't make the key plays, and we've made the catastrophic mistakes. So he's a really talented kid. Last week they got down, totally different game. They got down, and they were chasing, and he was trying to make plays, and it was, it's a lot different when this week they got the 10-point lead. So last week was a rare. He has not had big turnover games. He had one last week. Everybody has that day, but he's had a pretty good career, and he'll be in an NFL camp somewhere. He can sling the ball, he can make every throw, and he makes him look easy. His arm strength is crazy, ridiculous, and got a quick release, and he's athletic enough, so he can do a lot of things for you.
Everybody good? All right, Coach, I think we're good. Thanks. All right, this is Brad Canning. Questions for Brad?
Obviously, a disappointing loss for you guys. Did they do anything you didn't anticipate offensively, or were they just executing better than you might have expected or hoped for?
No, they didn't really do too much that we hadn't seen or really anything. It was just being disciplined on defense, having our eyes in the right spot, making sure we're reading our keys and all that. So, we were prepared for it. We just didn't execute to the best of our abilities.
Obviously, a huge play in the game for you and for the defense as a whole came in the second quarter with that crazy turnover that Heath caused, and then you caught on the sideline. Can you tell us about what you saw on that play and how you saw that develop?
I mean, I saw him go past. I just was running my drop. They completed. I was running the ball. Heath makes a great play, forces the ball out. I was just, running the ball, being fortunate enough to be there and caught it.
Okay, so you can't duplicate last year now. Got one game left. What do you do to keep the drive going? Not just for you, but for the whole team, just to keep the motivation, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this one's about the seniors. It's disappointing we don't get to, send them off the right way with a bowl game. Really, for everyone, it's disappointing, but especially those guys. So it's just all about them being able to finish the last game with a win, go out on a positive note.
Yeah, I guess it looked like there was quite a bit of pressure out there tonight. I know Crosby, was up close and personal, I guess, a few times there. But and it looks, of course, there was the fumble too, where they hit you right in the process of it. What was the feeling out there? Did you feel like it kind of wavered as far as sometimes it was there, sometimes it wasn't?
I think we went into the game knowing that they had a pretty good D-line, so I kind of the way Coach game planned it, and just going into the game, I knew I was going to have to get the ball out. Some of those plays, if you hang around back there and pat the ball, one too many times, that's all it takes for them to get home. So, just a really talented front by them. I think our guys did a good job for the most part. I think I just, in a couple of situations, I could have been smarter and. If a sack was inevitable, instead of trying to get rid of balls or, just kind of be smarter with the ball in a couple scenarios like that. But, I think our line did a good job for the most part all night on one of the most talented fronts in our league. So,
Obviously, you guys had a big second quarter, scoring 17 points, and then for the majority of the second half, you guys really struggled to move the ball. What adjustments did they make, or what was the difference between the second quarter and then the majority of the second half?
It just felt like we kind of didn't get a rhythm. Just really weren't able to flip the field. It felt like we were starting, on our own 20 or, every drive. So I just feel like we couldn't get in a rhythm, and a lot of that's on me. There's a couple more plays out there I think I could have made, but they did a good job, and they got a good defense. We knew that coming in. But yeah, there's looking back at it, there's definitely plays that were left out there, and just couldn't get a rhythm and get things going. So we'll look at the film and get better and make the adjustments.
You had a couple nice tosses to the tight end. That's a nice target for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Ryan's a hell of a player. It's not a surprise that he's they're talking about him playing at the next level. I think he's an ultra talented weapon for us with great hands, and the guy always seems to be making plays when it counts. So it's been a lot of fun throwing to him the last 3 years for me, and looking forward to one more game with him. So looking forward to finishing it out the right way.
We good? All right. Gus, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.